she said. Don't invite me to dinner. I'm tired of pretending I like your family. I replied. Got it. Then I brought my new girlfriend instead. The moment the family photos were posted, her missed calls exploded. I'm Alex, 29M. My girlfriend Brianna, 27F. We'd been together just under 2 years. Long enough to have routines. Long enough to have expectations. Long enough for her to stop pretending she cared about anything that didn't directly benefit her. This happened about 6 weeks ago, right before my mom's birthday dinner. Every year, my family does this big Sunday dinner. Nothing fancy, home-cooked food, too many side dishes, embarrassing stories, the usual. My parents are warm, maybe a little loud, definitely not cool, but they're good people. They welcomed Brianna from day one. Or at least they tried. The night before the dinner, I casually said, "Hey, dinner's at 6 tomorrow. Don't forget." She didn't look up from her phone. Just sighed, long and dramatic. "I'm not going," she said. I laughed a little. Thought she was joking. "What do you mean?" She finally looked at me, irritated. "I'm tired of pretending I like your family." That landed harder than she probably expected. I waited for her to soften it. Clarify. Walk it back. She didn't. "They're exhausting," she continued. "Your mom asks too many questions. Your sister is annoying. And your dad just stares. I don't want to spend another Sunday nodding and smiling like an idiot." I asked her if something happened. She rolled her eyes. "No, Alex. I just don't care anymore. Don't invite me to dinner." The way she said it, dismissive, final, made something in me go quiet. No argument. No pleading. No explaining how much it would mean to me. I just said, "Got it." She shrugged, already back to scrolling. Conversation over. What she didn't realize was that her honesty didn't hurt the most. What hurt was how easy it was for her to say it, and how clear it suddenly became that she didn't see herself as part of my life, just someone tolerating it. I still went to dinner. Just not the way she expected. Sunday came faster than I expected. I woke up early, not because I was nervous, but because my brain wouldn't shut up. Brianna slept in, sprawled across the bed like nothing had happened. No tension, no guilt, just comfort. That should have told me everything. I got dressed quietly. Button down, clean jeans, the watch my dad gave me when I got my first job. As I was tying my shoes, Brianna finally stirred. "You're really going?" she asked, yawning. "Yeah." She smirked. "Good. I get the place to myself." That was it. No tell them I said hi. No happy birthday to your mom. Just relief that she didn't have to pretend anymore. On the drive over, my phone buzzed. A text from my sister. "Hey, is Brianna coming?" Mom's asking. I stared at the message longer than necessary. "No," I replied. "Just me." Then, almost without thinking, I sent another text, this one to Maya. Maya and I had dated years ago. Briefly. Clean breakup. Stayed friends in that distant, respectful way adults sometimes manage. Over the past few months, we'd reconnected casually. Coffee here, random check-ins. Nothing inappropriate. Nothing secretive. Except now, staring at my phone, I realized something uncomfortable. She actually liked my family. Random question, I typed. "Any chance you're free for dinner tonight?" Family thing. 3 dots appeared almost immediately. "Yeah," she replied. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah," I sent back. "Just don't want to go alone." There was a pause. Then, "I'd love to." I pulled into my parents' driveway feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Anticipation. Maya met me outside the house 20 minutes later. Simple dress. No performance. She smiled when my mom opened the door and said, "Hi, Mrs. Carter. Happy birthday." My mom's face lit up. Dinner was loud. Warm. Easy. Maya laughed at my dad's terrible jokes. Asked my sister about her new job. Helped clear plates without being asked. At one point, my aunt leaned over and whispered, "She's lovely." I didn't correct her. Halfway through dessert, my sister pulled out her phone. Group photo. We all gathered in the living room. Arms around shoulders. Real smiles. Click. At that exact moment, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't check it, but I had a feeling I knew who it was. And why? I didn't check my phone until we were halfway through cake. It was face down on the table, buzzing intermittently like it was trying to get my attention without making a scene. I ignored it on purpose. For once, I didn't want to manage someone else's emotions in real time. Maya noticed before anyone else did. She glanced at the phone, then at me. "You're popular tonight," she said lightly. "Not really," I replied. After dinner, my mom insisted on photos. Not just one. Multiple. Different combinations. Parents. Siblings. Grandparents. Then, inevitably, "Alex, bring your girlfriend over here." There was a half-second pause. Just enough for me to correct her. I didn't. Maya stepped in naturally, like she belonged there. Because she did. The picture felt right. No tension. No forced smiles. No calculating glances to see if she was doing enough. My sister posted the photos almost immediately. She always does. Captioned, "Family dinner so grateful." That's when I finally checked my phone. 7 missed calls. All from Brianna. 3 texts underneath. "Why is there a girl with your family? Is that Maya? Call me. Now." I stared at the screen, strangely calm. No spike of adrenaline. No urge to explain. Just a quiet sense of inevitability. Maya must have sensed the shift. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. And for once, it wasn't a lie. On the drive home, my phone kept lighting up. Calls. Messages. Voicemails piling up faster than I could ignore them. I didn't answer any of them. When I got back to the apartment, Brianna was waiting. Sitting on the couch. Arms crossed. Jaw tight. Phone in hand like evidence. "So," she said the second I closed the door. "You brought her." I set my keys down slowly. "You told me not to invite you." "That doesn't mean you replace me," she snapped. "What the hell were you thinking?" I looked at her. Really looked. The anger wasn't about betrayal. It was about being seen. "You said you were tired of pretending," I replied. "So I stopped pretending too." Her face flushed. "You did this to hurt me." "No," I said quietly. "I did it because for the first time, I didn't feel like I had to apologize for enjoying my own life." She opened her mouth to fire back, then stopped. Because something in my tone had changed. And she could hear it. This wasn't a fight. This was the beginning of the end. Brianna didn't yell right away. That came later. First, she laughed. A short, sharp sound like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. "So this is what you do now?" she said. "You embarrass me online?" "I didn't post anything," I replied. "You didn't have to," she snapped, waving her phone. "Everyone's asking me if we broke up." My cousin literally sent me the photo and said, "Did Alex move on?" I sat down across from her. Calm. Steadier than I expected. "You told me not to bring you." I respected that. She leaned forward, eyes narrowed. "I meant alone. Not with your ex." "She's not my ex," I said. "She's someone who was happy to be there." That set her off. "Oh, so now I'm the villain because I didn't want to play happy family," she said. "I was honest with you. Isn't that what everyone wants?" "Honesty without consideration is just cruelty," I replied. "And you didn't care how it made me feel." She stood up, pacing. "You could have just gone by yourself." "I've been doing things by myself in this relationship for a while," I said. That was the problem. She stopped pacing and looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "You're really enjoying this, aren't you?" "No," I said. "I'm relieved." Her phone buzzed again. Another message. Probably another screenshot. Another question she didn't want to answer. "So what?" she said coldly. "You're just replacing me now?" "I'm not replacing you," I said. "I'm noticing the difference." She crossed her arms. "And what? Maya's just perfect?" "No," I said. "She just didn't treat my family like a chore." That one hurt her. I could tell. Her lips pressed together, eyes flashing. "You're choosing her over me," she said. I shook my head. I chose respect. She happened to be on the other side of that choice. For the first time since I walked in, Brianna looked uncertain. Because she realized something important. I wasn't trying to win the argument. I was deciding whether I still wanted the relationship. And she could feel the ground shifting under her feet. Brianna switched tactics once she realized yelling wasn't working. She sat back down, crossed her legs slowly, and sighed like she was the exhausted one. "I just don't understand why you're acting like this is some big moral stand," she said. All I did was tell the truth. "The truth without empathy," I replied. "Those aren't the same thing." She rolled her eyes. "God, you're so dramatic lately. You act like I committed some unforgivable crime because I don't vibe with your family." "It's not about liking them," I said. "It's about respecting that they matter to me." She scoffed. "They matter too much. Everything with you is family this, family that. It's suffocating." That word sat between us. Suffocating. Like loving people who loved me back was some kind of flaw. "So why stay with me?" I asked quietly. She blinked, clearly not expecting that. "What? If my life annoys you," I continued. "If the people I care about exhaust you, why are you here?" She opened her mouth, then closed it, then said, "Because relationships aren't perfect, Alex. You deal with things." "Do you?" I asked. "Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you just opt out." Her phone buzzed again. She checked it, visibly irritated. "Everyone thinks you cheated," she snapped. "Do you know how humiliating that is for me?" There it was. Not us. Not how are you feeling. Just her image. "I didn't cheat," I said. "But I also didn't hide." She stood up abruptly. "So what?" You're just done now? You bring one girl to dinner, and suddenly you're enlightened? I shook my head. No, that dinner just showed me what it feels like when someone doesn't resent being part of my life. Her face hardened. You did this to make me jealous. I met her eyes. If I wanted to make you jealous, I'd be begging for your attention right now. That shut her up. For a moment, the apartment was silent except for the hum of the fridge. She looked around like she was reassessing everything. Me, the space, her position in it. You're changing, she said finally, not accusing this time. Almost unsettled. No, I replied. I'm noticing. She grabbed her phone, her bag, keys clattering. I'm going out. I need space. Okay, I said. She paused at the door, clearly expecting more. A plea. A protest. Anything. I gave her nothing. The door slammed. And standing there alone, I realized something that scared me more than the fight itself. I didn't miss her when she left. I missed who I thought she was before she told me exactly how little my life meant to her. Brianna didn't come home that night. I knew because her charger was gone. Her overnight bag too. She'd planned the exit, just not the outcome. She texted around 1:30 a.m. I'm staying at Jenna's. I need space from your bullshit. I stared at the message, then set my phone down without replying. That silence would have driven the old me crazy. Now it just felt quiet. The next morning, my sister sent me another text. Mom loved Maya. Just so you know. I smiled at that longer than I probably should have. Brianna came back late the following afternoon. Different energy this time. Less fire. More calculation. She tossed her bag down and leaned against the counter like she was rehearsing a speech. So, she said, are you done with your little performance? I went to dinner, I replied. With people who wanted me there. She laughed, but it sounded forced. You really think she's going to stick around? Maya? Please. She's just flattered. Maybe, I said. But she didn't insult my family to my face. Brianna's eyes narrowed. You're really holding on to that? I'm holding on to what it revealed. She crossed her arms. You're acting like I committed some kind of crime. No, I said. You just showed me where I rank. She scoffed. I'm your girlfriend. Obviously I come first. That's not what you said, I replied. You said my family was something you had to pretend to tolerate. She rolled her eyes. I was venting. God, you're so sensitive. That word again. Sensitive. Her favorite way to dodge accountability. I didn't overreact, I said. I reacted accurately. She stared at me like she wanted to argue, but couldn't find the angle. Then she changed direction. So what? You and Maya are dating now. No, I said honestly. But I noticed how easy it was with her. That matters. Her jaw tightened. You're punishing me. No, I replied. I stopped cushioning your contempt. That landed. She picked up her phone, scrolling fast. You know everyone thinks you cheated, right? I look stupid. I met her eyes. You told me not to bring you. You don't get to manage how that looks after. Silence. And in that silence, Brianna finally understood something she hadn't considered before. This wasn't about dinner. It was about the fact that for the first time in our relationship, I wasn't choosing her comfort over my own dignity. And she had no idea how to handle that. Brianna didn't bring up Maya for almost 2 days. That's how I knew she was spiraling. Instead, she nitpicked everything else. The apartment. The way I loaded the dishwasher. How distant I'd become. She said it like distance was something I was doing to her, not something she'd created by checking out of my life piece by piece. You're acting single, she said one night, standing in the doorway while I worked on my laptop. I'm acting honest, I replied. She scoffed. Funny how that started after you paraded another woman in front of your family. I closed my laptop. You weren't paraded out. You opted out. She hated that phrasing. I could tell by the way her jaw tightened. You know what really pisses me off? She said. You didn't even warn me. About what? That you were done, she snapped. I thought about that. I didn't know I was done until you told me you were tired of pretending. She crossed her arms. So what? You're just replacing me with the first girl who smiles at your mom. No, I said calmly. I'm realizing how low the bar was. That set her off. She grabbed her phone and shoved it toward me. Look, everyone thinks I'm the bad guy now. My friends are asking why you brought Maya instead of me. Do you know how humiliating that is? I glanced at the screen. Messages full of assumptions, gossip, half-truths. None of it mattered. You could have come, I said. You chose not to. I chose not to fake it, she shot back. And I chose not to reward contempt, I replied. Silence stretched between us. Then she said something quieter. Are you in love with her? No, I said honestly. But I remembered what it feels like when being with someone doesn't feel like work. Her face shifted, not anger this time. Fear. Because she finally understood this wasn't about jealousy. It was about comparison. And for the first time, she was losing one she didn't even know she was in. That night, she slept on her side of the bed, turned away from me. No dramatic exit. No slammed doors. Just space. And lying there in the dark, I realized the relationship hadn't broken when I brought Maya to dinner. It broke when Brianna realized I no longer needed her approval to choose what felt right. And she had no idea how to get that power back. The next morning felt heavier than the fight itself. Brianna woke up early and started cleaning. Aggressively. Slamming cabinet doors. Rearranging things that didn't need rearranging. The universal sign of someone trying to regain control without actually apologizing. I sat at the table with my coffee, watching her move around like I was a guest in my own apartment. "So what's the plan now?" she finally asked, not looking at me. "There doesn't have to be a plan," I said. "That's kind of the point." She laughed bitterly. "Must be nice. You get to blow everything up and then act zen about it." "I didn't blow anything up," I replied. "I stopped cushioning your disrespect." She spun around. "You are obsessed with that word." "Because it keeps fitting," I said. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed tight. "You know what the worst part is? You didn't even talk to me first. You just replaced me." That word again. Replaced. "I didn't replace you," I said. "I showed up somewhere you didn't want to be." She shook her head. "You did it to humiliate me. You knew the photos would get posted." "I knew my family takes photos," I replied. "That's not a trap. That's a tradition." Her phone buzzed on the counter. She glanced at it, then quickly flipped it face down. "Your mom liked Maya's picture," she said, voice tight. Commented a heart. I didn't respond. "That hurt," she added, quieter now. "Do you know how that feels?" I met her eyes. "Now imagine how it felt hearing you say you were tired of pretending to like the people who raised me." She swallowed. For the first time since this started, she didn't immediately deflect. "I didn't think you'd do this," she admitted. "That's the problem," I said gently. "You didn't think I would choose myself." She scoffed weakly. "So what? You're just done now." "I don't know," I answered honestly. "But I do know I can't unsee how easily you dismissed something that mattered to me." She turned away, blinking fast. "You're making a huge mistake." "Maybe," I said. "But staying silent would have been a bigger one." She grabbed her bag. "I'm going to Jenna's again." "Okay." She paused at the door, waiting. For guilt. For fear. For me to stop her. I didn't. The door closed softly this time. And sitting alone in the quiet apartment, I realized something that surprised me. I wasn't wondering how to fix this. I was wondering why I'd worked so hard to excuse it for so long. Brianna didn't come back for 3 days. Not even to grab more clothes. Instead, my phone became the battlefield. At first, it was silence. Then came the missed calls. 1, 3, 7. All back to back, like if she rang enough times I'd magically revert to the version of me who chased resolution. I didn't answer. Then the text started. "We need to talk like adults. You're blowing this out of proportion." I said one thing in frustration and you nuked everything. I read them all. Didn't respond. By the 4th day, the tone shifted again. "I didn't mean it like that. You know I'm bad with families. You know I still chose you." That one stuck with me. She chose me. On the condition that everything attached to me stayed quiet, invisible, and convenient. That afternoon, my sister texted me again. "Mom asked if you and Maya are seeing each other." I told her no pressure, just that you looked happy. Happy. I hadn't realized how long it had been since someone used that word about me without qualifiers. Brianna finally came back that night. No warning. Just keys in the door and her standing there like she was bracing for impact. "You didn't answer me," she said. "I saw the messages." "So," she snapped. "You couldn't even acknowledge them?" I leaned against the counter. "What was there to say?" She scoffed. I apologized. "You explained." I corrected. "You didn't take responsibility." She threw her bag down. "Fine. I'm sorry your family offended you." I waited. "That's not an apology," I said calmly. She stared at me, incredulous. "Are you serious right now?" "Yes." She laughed, but it cracked halfway through. "You're really going to end this over one dinner?" I shook my head. "No. I'm ending this over how little you cared until there were consequences." That's when her voice dropped. "You're doing this because of her." "No," I said. "I'm doing this because of me." Silence filled the apartment again. Then she said it. The line she thought would snap me back. "If you break up with me, you'll regret it." I met her eyes, steady. "I already regret staying quiet." And in that moment, I knew there was only one part left to write. The part where I finally said the words she hadn't expected to hear. I didn't plan the breakup speech. There was no dramatic build-up, no perfectly timed monologue. It happened on a Tuesday night, both of us standing in the kitchen like roommates who'd waited too long to say the obvious. Brianna was mid-rant about how unfair this all was, how everyone had turned against her, how my family clearly preferred Maya, how I'd blindsided her. I let her talk. When she finally stopped, arms crossed, waiting for me to defend myself, I said, "I don't want to do this anymore." She blinked. "Do what?" "This," I said, gesturing vaguely between us. "Argue about basic respect. Pretend your contempt was just a bad day. Keep shrinking parts of my life so you don't have to be uncomfortable." Her face hardened instantly. "So you're breaking up with me?" "Yes." She laughed, sharp and disbelieving. "Because of one comment?" "No," I said calmly. "Because that comment showed me how you really see me. And because when you saw consequences, you still couldn't take responsibility." She stepped closer. "You're making a huge mistake. You think Maya's going to save you?" "This isn't about Maya," I replied. "She just reminded me what it feels like when someone doesn't resent the people I love." That landed like a slap. "You'll regret this," Brianna said, voice shaking now. "You always do." I shook my head. "The only thing I regret is how long I convinced myself this was normal." She stared at me, searching for doubt, for hesitation, for the version of me that would back down to keep the peace. He wasn't there anymore. She grabbed her bag and walked out without another word. No slam this time. Just finality. Later that night, my sister posted another photo from the dinner, one I hadn't even noticed being taken. Me in the background, laughing, genuinely laughing. The comments were full of hearts. Brianna's name wasn't among them. And sitting alone in the quiet apartment, I felt something I hadn't expected at all. Not heartbreak, relief. Because sometimes the moment someone tells you they're tired of pretending is the moment you realize you're tired of accepting it. And choosing yourself doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it just looks like saying "got it" and meaning it.